Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinkerer and Medarot, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now, as we crest into the final week celebrating the 4.5-year anniversary of Medarot S, we have pretty much a lot of stuff we've already expected up to this point. But we have the official final drop and a formal introduction of Dorcus C, which will be highlighting and spearheading the tail end of the anniversary with Saikachi C, which we got last week. Lots of new skills, but still relatively reminiscent of the same TP style that they gave with Sai C, but we do also have a number of other rather interesting surprises as we crest into this final week, or rather I should say final days of the month of July as we crest into August, and just a little bit of a teaser as to what we can expect going forward as we kind of wind down just a little bit from the celebration festivities. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into first the gacha banners and what to expect for this week. Much like last week, it is going to be relatively on the lighter end when it comes to banners, so if you're not overly enthused with everything that you see this week, take it more as a chance to kind of skip, recoup, and relax just a little bit and kind of pick up on your resources. But, starting of course, the lineup with the gacha banners getting the highlighted rate this week, of course, is KWG05M, Dorcus C, with a brand new kit of Radar Sight C, Sword C, Hammer C, biped legs, and a brand new leg ability called Lightweight. To explain Lightweight briefly, basically it's just as long as you don't meet or exceed, or rather exceed, the heavy limit on your legs, it's an all stat boost to it's an all leg stat boost to basically everything except armor and heavy limit. So more or less just an inverse of heavy arms. So they're definitely geared toward lightweight users, as the name implies, more than anything else. All his other skills here really aren't anything overly special as they were explained in this morning's stream and kind of what we picked up on over the course of last week with him as an enemy NPC. Basically, much like it was with Saikachi C, it's basically just a lot of bonuses and perks that were originally available to TP bonuses only. So Radar Sight C getting the 120% success boost, Sword C getting the damage bonus on piercing bonus on damage, Hammer, they said, just gets a higher ascension rank bonus. But the other really big thing that sets this model apart is the fact it also has the Crafty Mode, much like Saikachi C. In this mode, Dorcus C is also packing one more brand new skill, Meta Shears, Jet Blow, and Jet Hammer with Float Legs and High Fly. Meta Shears is basically just anti-air and anti-sea all rolled into one as a special skill, much like Meta Sprayer was last week. So another really useful skill for ignoring a lot of pesky guards that at one point may have made Dorcus here more of a liability than he was an actual value. The other thing to mention as well with the boosted rates this week, we kind of already expected it and already knew it was incoming, but just to formally go over it officially, we are also seeing boosted rates alongside Dorcus C for KWG14 Kairen, which is Hyper Thunder, Sword, Charge Spark, biped legs, and the leg ability of Soaring. We also have KWG05F Black Stag, with Stat Cleanse, Sword, Hammer, biped legs, and Through Fight. Now, Black Stag, much like Black Beetle was last week, also is capable of meta-changing into an aerial-type form instead of a tank, much like Black Beetle. In this aerial-type form, Black Stag exchanges her kit out ever so slightly for Trap Clear, Sword, Hammer, Flight Legs, and the leg ability of Straight. Now, a fair warning with this week's banner with Dorcus C is, much like it was with Saikachi C last week, is it's going to be 2 meta-change models and 1 non-MC one. So this banner is going to be just a little bit on the unforgiving side when it comes to actually having a chance to pull for them. Since for Dorcus or for Black Stag, you either get the whole sets or you unfortunately do not. There are no real pity for that one. Whereas with Kairen, thankfully, because he is not an MC type model, if you collect all of him or even just one of his parts, it's still going to be something very valuable all the same. With the Fierce Battles this week, it's actually going to be a repeat, almost one-to-one of another week that we've had about roughly 2 months ago or so when I last checked my calendar and my notes. But this week's Fierce Battles highlighting us as we start into August. On this top row, we're starting off with HPP0 Hip Hoppajamas with Stealth, Double Break Hammer, Tank Legs, and Trap Buster. Next to him, we have RIN-0, a Rhino Rush, with Guard 500, Double Missile, Tank Legs, and Super Armor. And lastly, KZA-01 Kaizo Korobe, with Gatling, Rifle, Sword, Biped Legs, and Acrobatics. On this bottom row here, we're starting off with OWS-0 Papio Chevalier, with Fight Boost, Discharge, Counter Guard, Float Legs, and Mascot. CMR-0 Aim Flash, with Flash, Beam, Mega Gatling, Wield Legs, and the leg ability of Extra Magazine. And lastly, CRC-01 Sha Fu, with Sword, Double Anti-Air, melee variants of course, Biped Legs, and Excel. Naturally, much like it was that one week as well, I do have to give the MVP of the week to Aim Flash and Sha Fu. Aim Flash in particular because his Wield Legs and his head are actually still pretty solidly prevalent in current competitive meta, especially for the flash and the extra head skill that that both of those parts do offer. Sha Fu for melee anti-air also is going to be very nice to have just in case you need it. Everyone else is going to be kind of a hit and miss based on the particular situation. Hippopotamus for tank legs with Trap Buster or to break hammer arms, albeit heavy, are still going to be really solid. Rhino Rush for super armor on his legs, even if he's not fast, that does give you immunity to paralyzed ailments, and Kaizo Korobe for passive boost to your evade. Papio Chevalier mostly is going to be your all-around support, or auxiliary support, I should say, for your predominantly melee-based teams more than anything else. It's still worth farming all 6 of these just to have the parts, but ultimately Aim Flash and Sha Fu are going to be the 2 really big ones you want to focus on the most. Now, much like it was also with Saikachi C, this week we're also getting a paid limited time skin for Dorcus C as well, this time highlighting the silver-colored skin for him. Much like it was with the older Takara toys, much like it was last week with Saikachi C, Dorcus C is kind of emulating an older toy style here, which I actually really can't help but appreciate. And having it kind of makes it a pseudo Meta BG Rokusho P kind of thing in this instance. And if you were lucky to actually end up collecting those, because we actually have not seen those in a pretty hot minute, if I'm being honest with you, this is going to be a really good opportunity to pick up on those as well if you do end up actually collecting either of the models. They very likely will go for about 2,900 yen or so, I think, on the web store, between 2,900 and 3,600, so not anything overly expensive. That would equate roughly to about $20 or so USD on the web store if you are able to access it, so nothing overly pricey, and you do get some rubies to go with it. But just as a friendly reminder, if you do not have Saikachi C or Dorcus C, these skins are basically useless to you, unfortunately, and that does mean that the skins are just going to sit in your inventory and look pretty until you actually have the models to use them with. So try not to go for these unless you actually have the models in question first, because it'll really just lead to disappointment in the long run. Now with the event though, as we kind of curve into Wave 3 for the 4.5-year anniversary event, this week's event rewards are going to be relatively on the lower end, so nothing huge or elaborate, much like it was last week with rerunning event rewards or event medals in particular, which are a very high value. However, we do have one brand new face that will be joining us this week and officially making their grand debut into the world of Medarot S with a brand new and fresh 3D model. And that is CTP-0 Centipade from Medarot 3 with triple press, wield legs, and artillery. Additionally, we can also earn other limited time event rewards such as more NFRPS chips and rubies and other limited time resources. So if you're looking for resources to stock up on, this is definitely going to be another very good week for you to top off on those resources. Especially since once you get into the later Ascension periods, it's going to be a little expensive to raise and going to be pretty hard on your resources overall. The Pade is going to be nice to see, but ultimately with triple press, not going to be anything overly impressive, probably more of a collection model than anything else. The event, on the other hand, much like it was teased last week, it will be highlighting specifically the Meta Meister event, which is a brand new type of event that they started introducing a pretty good number of weeks ago, actually. But it, being completely honest, is actually one of my favorite types of events that we've seen thus far in Medarot S. To explain Meta Meister briefly, all the models and all the bonuses that you see here, Saikachi's and Dorcus C at a 15%, Black Stag, Black Beetle, and the Past Future Trio, or Scarlet Violet Duo, I have not forgotten that joke by the way, folks, at a 12% bonus, Centipede, Swimmer Mate, and Marine Killer at that 5%, and the Fierce Battles at 3% each. The Metarotters here, the anniversary of Kasumi, Hiyori, Ikki, and Arika will give you a 15% bonus each, and a 12% bonus for Hikaru, Kirara, Arase, or Hisaki, which are previous anniversary Metarotters as well. To explain Metameister briefly with these bonuses, bots in particular actually get 2 bonuses. The first of which is the point bonus, as you see here, but they also get an all-stat boost relative to that same bonus as well. So they will fight just a little harder, run a little faster, and be able to tank things just slightly better than before if you are using those parts. And, of course, like milestone events, the bonuses do stack per number of parts equipped on the build. But that's not the only thing that Metameister brings to the table. In particular, it also gives you 1 level daily, so you don't need to farm this to completion on day 1 and call it a day and have nothing to do. It's going to give you 1 level at the start of the week. Every day, it will give you another level on top of that to keep going, each level getting progressively harder than the last, until you get to the very end of the event. Well, they will be moderately challenging, and even using the first Metameister event, it actually was pretty tough even for veteran players at that point, with some really bonkers modifiers there toward the end. Bonus missions, as well, for opportunity to earn extra points. These are usually nothing more than, say, use a support skill 3 times, break 2 parts, go without taking a hit on this model, or use a Metarotter skill. Really, really easy stuff overall for bonus points. And of course, there is a leaderboard. So once you can hit a minimum above score, that basically guarantees you all the rewards to that tier when the event ends. Relatively similar to how PvP and online exhibition behave overall. So like I said, I honestly really like the Metameister style event, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that they do implement it more in the future, because it is moderately beginner friendly, and you're able to go as high as you want and still try to make the most of the rewards you earn, instead of being basically level locked into harder things that you can't farm points for. Now, on the topic of online exhibition, the August PvP skins have also been announced for this month as well. This time we're highlighting a red swimsuit style swimmer mate and a dolphin style marine killer, and albeit the swimmer mate skin is basically just a recolor and nothing special, I have to say I do kind of like the dolphin style marine killer. And while now marine killer is designed off of an orca or killer whale type, this dolphin type definitely is more appealing and brighter to the eye, and a very unique take on it as well. Now, in addition to these 2 brand new ones, we're also getting Raiju style Beast Chimera coming back as well, and as a friendly reminder, all 3 of these will be available for pulling in the gacha banners through the month of August. But I will give you a warning, Marine Killer and Swimmer Mate are spotlights, which means they are available in any other banner at any other time, so I would actively avoid those banners unless you really have nothing more to do with your resources. Additionally, the Dodome-style Chaos Fixer and the Jorogumo-style Kokono Elegy will be made available for purchase in the convenience store through the month of August. And their banners, I believe, will also be made available through the month as well, if you're able to pull for either of those. So it's really nice to see more reruns of earlier skins making comebacks as well while they introduce new ones, and I'm so glad that they listened to the community on that front. Friendly reminder once more, the Beast Chimera skin, the Dodome style Chaos Fixer, and the Jorogumo style Kokono Elegy are pickups, and they are reruns. The 2 new ones are Swimmer Mate and Marine Killer. Moving away from game stuff here as we keep going, we are still always looking for translators to assist us with any current projects or endeavors that are ongoing. Right now, Medarot 3 is still in that near completion stage, basically 100% playable, mostly just some bug fixes every here and there we gotta check for and just make sure everything's behaving. But we would love to work on other projects such as Medarot 4 and 5 and Navi, or any other projects that are perhaps even raising some interest, or even fan games which actually have been popping up discussions on every now and again. So, if you are knowledgeable in coding, cleaning, Japanese, ROM hacking, if that's your shtick as well, or if you know somebody that might be interested in helping, feel free to join our community in the link provided below to our community Discord, Project Rise of Beetle, and we can most certainly try to get you in touch with the right people to fill you in on what has been done and what still needs done up to this point. The work of those translators has honestly been the good work, and I'm so proud to be able to kind of take a minute and brag about them each week and just what they do, and just try to bring the older Medarot games back to the surface for other players to enjoy. Especially here on the East Coast, or at least on the Western community front, I should say, that originally did not have access to these games. Now with the weekly art highlights here on the MNN, I am going to toot my own horn just a little bit with this piece here over on the far left that I did. I have to blame a friend of mine for sticking a Medarot no Danatsu theme in my head as a seed. It has not been able to leave me for the past several days after the last couple pieces I posted on Twitter. You know who you are that inspired me for that, and I also thank you slightly. But this is essentially what came out of it. It is a Medarot no Danetsu Beetle of Time, I guess I can call it, between Kuwagata Bison and Twinkle Star as an iconic duo that everybody will know and love in that very similar scenario and situation. And I very likely might also continue this series with other promo arts or remaking them in this style. All depends on if I can figure out who to fill in on the slots and replace with the cast. And this one here, my Twitter user Heartlessly Gold does a fantastic piece of Rokusho with a beautiful red scarf, which kind of is more of a nod to his role in Medarot 8 as part of the detective agency. Lovely art, and I love the soft shading on this one as well. Very beautifully well-blended art. The detail on the eye is really nice too. Contrast the visor glow. Very beautiful, very lovely design overall. Definitely give them a follow as well if you'd like to see more of their art in your feeds. One final note, of course, as well, I am always open for commission for any kind of art-based needs. I can do live 2D models ready to rig, including my own model, as you see here, that I hand-drew. I can do 3D models, fully rigged, textured, optimized, ready to drag and drop in any program of your choosing. I can also do 3D props as well. I do standard art of varying degrees of complexity and detail, albeit with the cell shade art that I usually like to stick pretty heavily with. And of course, I also do emotes. So if you are looking for something of this caliber and don't want to break the bank with it, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or on Discord, and we can most certainly try to make something happen with that. I always leave my DMs open on purpose for that very reason. But with all that being said, I believe that covers basically everything like I said, so not a whole lot of new stuff, I should say. Just kind of wrapping up a third wave of the 4.5-year anniversary, but still some very exciting news all the same, with a new face and a lot of brand new skills that we can bring to the table. But with that being said, if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community on there that I do also run, which is now cresting almost at 28,000 members and growing by the day. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new links to merchandise, fan art, contests, announcements from Imagineer, my weekly episodes, or anything else in between. That place is going to be the first location you're going to see any of it released before it goes anywhere else on the net, I guarantee it. You can also follow me personally on Twitter at Isagamikura if you have any questions, feedback, comments, or would love just to stop in and say hello, or if you'd like to commission me or possibly collab with me, of which there is always a seat here at the news desk here on the MNN, or if you'd like to have me stop in on your channel for a friendly chat or visit, I would absolutely love to coordinate with you. Feel free to reach out to me in those DMs and we can most certainly try to make something happen. Lastly, give my wonderful friends here a follow on Twitter as well, Mono0 and Bamboo Sayano, both fantastic artists in the Medarot community as well. Mono0 in particular has been very consistent, almost constantly, with at least weekly art at the very minimum, mostly kind of tailgating on the coattails of the new anime episodes that get aired each week on the official channel, but still very nice, soft, and very colorful art all the same, and I always love seeing their things in my feed. Same with Bamboo Sayano, which focuses a little more heavily on higher detail and higher resolution, and just always lovely to see as well. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kara Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.